Hi friends, I'm doing another photo breakdown today, but today I'm going to talk about some other people's photos. Also, whoa, hey, look out! James did a setup change. The shot's different. I decided to move the mic closer to my face so that you could hear the warm, buttery, gritty tones of the very little amount of bass that comes from my voice. Okay, for the photos I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to be focusing on photos with very distinct, intense moods to them. And I want to approach this from a very holistic standpoint. So not so much just the post-processing of the photo, even though that plays an enormous role in giving a photo a feel that you can grab onto with your emotions. But I want to focus on the entire dynamic of the photo, all the elements that come together to make the feel what it is. First, we have a slightly horrifying photo from, I hope I get this name right, I'm sorry if I say it horribly wrong, Graziano Panfili? It appears as if he has very subtly placed his watermark in two different places in the photo, which takes away from the photo for me. But still a fantastic photo, and we're going to talk about why. As you can probably tell if you have eyes, this photo has a very eerie, suspenseful, sort of horrific mood to it. There's so many things about this photo that we as humans respond to viscerally. You have a lot of darkness in the photo. It's very blue and tone feels very cold. You can almost feel it on your skin. But it's not just that the photo feels cold temperature-wise, it feels emotionally cold. It feels so intense that you can hardly bear it. The headlights in the distance are a fantastic focal point, and they also add to the mysterious and horrific quality of the photo. You're like, what are those doing? Are they coming to kill me? Are they coming to save me? Am I a ghost? Am I going to scare the person in the car? Is this a video game about ghost scarings of people in cars driving down lonely road highways? How do you get points? Can you die? You're a ghost. The composition in this photo is very interesting because it's aesthetically pleasing, but at the same time it feels sort of off. And the fog in the air creates this uneasy feeling. And I think the amount of darkness in the scene makes you feel a bit surrounded. And of course on the post-processing side, we associate cool tones with a few different things. One being a cold temperature, two being cold emotions, suspense, eeriness, unease, maybe a little bit of I can't stay here for too long. I gotta get out of here. It doesn't feel right. And like I said, the headlights as a focal point elevates this photo to something very intriguing. Next, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have a photo by none other than Dan Tom. I've spoken about him before on here. He is my favorite landscape. God, I struggle with this. Him and Kevin Russ are two fantastic landscape photographers. They may have to get into a death match. One might have to die before I can rest, for my soul can rest at ease. I need to go write some poetry. I'll be back. Okay, poetry would take too long. I drank some coffee instead. This photo is the complete opposite of the previous photo in many ways. To start, we have a warm overall mood to the photo, even though there are cool tones. You have this perfect sort of yin and yang of warm tones on the left side of the wave and then cool tones on the right side of the wave, and then the wave is of course right down the middle. Something interesting is that the cool tones in this photo accentuate the warm tones in the photo, and that warm tones in general have a stronger presence. They overtake the cool tones. It would be one thing if the entire thing was warm, but the interplay between the cool and warm tones is so satisfying to us, and I wonder if it goes into a bit more of a philosophical realm, even though we aren't consciously maybe looking at it that way. It reacts to life. It reacts to the way that life is. Freaking Dan Tom, this photo is filthy goodness. Next. This next one's by an Instagram photographer that I feel is fairly popular. His username is Asterix, and I've always thought that his post-processing dynamic is incredible. Here we have a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. Yes, the most photographed thing from the same angle in the world. And this angle has been executed many, many times, but this one is a very unique take on the Golden Gate Bridge. I feel that many photographers would not even leave the house on a day like this, but Asterix is not shy. Alas. The mood of this photo is haunting, but in a very different way than the first photo. You don't feel like the Golden Gate Bridge is going to eat you and your children. It is epically haunting. Now, if we look at this photo holistically, meaning we look at all of the elements that are present that make up the mood that is in the photo, if we start with the post-processing, we do see cool tones, but we also see very strong, dense colors. The colors could have been very cool and we would have had a similar effect, but these actually feel like an imposing World War 2 movie type of vibe. That, paired with the dramatic landscape in the background and the dense fog that's covering the top of the bridge, creates a strong effect, and also these birds really add to it as well. If you're trying to make something look enormous, it is a fantastic idea to not show the top of it. Compositionally, you wouldn't see the top anyway in this case, but the fog only adds to that effect. In this case, other than just being a fantastic compositional element, the cars add to the sense of enormity. We know how big a car is, and we're comparing that naturally to what we're seeing elsewhere in the image. I love how dense the traffic is. I love the headlights. I love the street lights on the bridge as well. I think the focal length he chose here is beautiful. Why, you ask, would you want to make the Golden Gate Bridge feel huge in a photo? Well, that's because if you were to visit the Golden Gate Bridge, it would look enormous because you're there. I've never visited the Golden Gate Bridge, but I've been to enough big things. I just got back from the Hoover Dam to know that there is an amazing energy that you feel when you're standing in the presence of something so enormous. It's hard to recreate that in a photo, but you can get very close by using different techniques. Okay, so I feel like creating a mood in a photo is a fantastic way to engage with the emotions of the people who are looking at the photo and give them an experience. As you may or may not know, I have a Lightroom preset collection on my website, and within that collection I have subcategories of warm and cool tones. I've always loved this stuff. I love seeing it done in movies as well. There is a part in a lot of movies where it goes from very cool tones in the sad bit of the movie to very warm tones when the person has a breakthrough, they overcame the cancer, they got the job. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please feel free to engage below. I will engage back. Hope you have a lovely day. Goodbye.